which is?
You were saying, you were saying that you don't believe that you have to pay taxes because there's no law.
This is Michael.
That is correct, sir. There is no law.
Put it in your words.
There is no law. How can I put it in my words? We looked and looked and looked for, and we're still looking today.
Ken?
There is no law. Well, pause for a moment. John, before we bring just let my wife explain this. Elaine, would you explain that to them, please? My wife can explain it to you much clearer than I can.
Hey, Ken, we're going to go home.
Just keep it.
Okay.
For many years, many thousands of people have been asking the IRS to show them the law requiring the average American to pay a tax on the fruits of their labor. They have never done so. Joe Bannister, who was an investigator in the CID for the IRS, did a 2-year investigation while he was employed by the IRS. And at the end of the 2 years, he put together a report stating that there is no such law. He sent this report up to his superiors, and he was invited to resign from the IRS. Sherry Peel Jackson, a CPA who worked for the IRS. When she went to work for them, she was determined she was going to collect the $50,000 reward that the We the People Foundation has had out for about 12 or 15 years to pay anyone who can show them the law. So as a CPA working in the IRS, she also did a similar investigation, and at the end, she resigned from the IRS because she knew there was no such law, and she and Joe would no longer participate in persecuting Americans into paying an unlawful tax. The tax itself is okay, the code itself is okay, except for the convoluted manner in which it is written. It is the misapplication of this law that is the problem. My husband and I were charged with violating 7201 and 7202 of the Title 26, the Income Tax Code. Those are both nothing more than penalty clauses. They do not impose any kind of legal duty on anyone. All they basically say is, if you're supposed to do this and you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. We're also charged with structuring. Structuring was put into law to track money laundering. There's no money laundering here. Even the judge said that in the court. There's no question of money laundering. If there is such a law, why don't they just show it? No one has been able to do so. And when you cannot produce a law in law, then that means there is no such law. That's what we're all about, ladies and gentlemen. You and we have been victimized, we've been lied to, people's lives have been ruined, they have been killed, incarcerated, their homes stolen from them, all for a law that doesn't exist. It's time everyone took a look. If we all stop paying it, then what are they going to do? The question is asked, well, how are we going to run the government? Well, all the money that you pay in those taxes goes to pay the interest on the national debt. Not one dime of it goes to run the government. The government runs along just fine on all the other taxes and imposts and fees and everything else.